Hey guys, you're here with Dr. Molly,
And Todd Rowland.
and we're bringing you the Pawcast, the business side of the pet industries. We're here with Cheer and James of MoeGo. That is their customer success team. And we are excited to kind of talk with them and get a history of MoeGo. As many of you all know, that MoeGo is who we use as our software. And
we love them.
Yeah, they've been leaps and bounds over what we had before. So we're excited to be working with them and talking with them, and hopefully just kind of share their story, share where they're going next, and just give you guys some information so you can see if it kind of fits a need that you have in your business. So, hey guys, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us. And so glad you love MoeGo.
Yeah. So, do you guys kind of want to give a little background of how you got started and what made you guys develop, this software for groomers, and how it's so has so many features for mobile groomers too?
Yeah, sure. So I will share, how we started MoeGo years ago and how things happened. So I think that's a story most pet parents will be able to relate, because our founders, they were pet parents themselves. And years ago, when they wanted to book an appointment for their fur baby, they just searched best groomer nearby on Yelp, and there came a list of businesses. So they just called them. I think they called 9 businesses in a row, and no one really picked up because they were just really busy. They're on the road and were, doing the grooming themselves. So no one really picked up. When they called the 10th business, they answered the phone by saying, okay, we have availability after 3 weeks. So they feel really, really painful when they schedule appointments for their pets themselves. So they were wondering, why not make a marketplace connecting pet parents and pet groomers, just like Open Table, for pets, right?
Right.
So they wanted to do that at that time. So they started a field trip doing research. They were in LA at that time. So they visited like 20 to 30 shops.
Wow.
On site in LA. And they found that it was not possible to do a marketplace at that point, because most of the businesses they visited were still doing pen and paper. Yep. At that time. And even when they were using the softwares, it was not cloud-based, right? It's not like you can access the data doing scheduling anywhere in time. So they realized that it was not only painful for pet parents to find an appointment, it was also, even more painful for pet businesses to manage their businesses, appointments, scheduling, and everything. Especially for mobile groomers. I think we all know, how painful it will be. Especially most of the mobile groomers are just one-man army, right? When they finish a really busy day, they have to manually plan for the next day routing and an appointment time, and then manually remind their customers. I think we've all been there, right? Manually remind their customers.
One of the first vacations that we took together, Molly had poster boards, and she was like, this zip code, and write down all her customers to try to, book her next quarter out. And I was like, there's got to be something there. Of course, that was, almost 10 years ago. But
that was way when I was still in my pen and paper days.
Yeah, so that was really a pain on an act. So that's when they think, why not just help them first, help pet businesses first to reshape the industry, right? So that's when we started a very simple iOS app, even not without any Android app or desktop version like we have today, and work with those mobile groomers from the very beginning. So that's why we have one of the highlighted star features like smart scheduling. I think most customers are using this on a daily basis. Smart scheduling, route optimization, certain area for certain days to really solve this, real life problem. And that's when we realize, when you solve the real life problems, when you're really solving this, customers will come to you.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that makes a lot of sense why your platform is so user friendly to the grooming industry, because there are other platforms out there, and they may be a spinoff of a hair salon software, but it really doesn't go well at all, especially with the mobile groomers. And so that makes a lot of sense of why yours is so product friendly for the industry.
Yeah, because we all, we really love to talk to our customers. The first version of MoeGo really is based on our customers' feedback. They, the following updates and rollouts are based on our customer suggestion as well. So every single feature is to really solve the questions or issues you have on your daily operations, right? Even really tiny feature. Like we have a thing called Fake It filter for online booking. So I don't know whether you have checked it out.
And we haven't.
So, so it's basically more for new businesses. So when a new business start, they have their every day wide open, right? But they don't really want their customer to see, okay, you have so many slots available. Does it mean you don't have that kind of good service or not? So we have this fake it filter. You can make your days like 50% full or 70% full, 8% full to make it more, attractive or appealing for customers. So things like that. Yeah.
That's good because that's something that to think about. I know a lot of new businesses, even when they're booking customers, over the phone or something, and they may have something tomorrow, they won't tell the customer that because they don't want them to seem like they're not busy and they're not successful. So yeah, having that as an online where you can just set that. No, I had no idea that feature was there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So every feature is basically coming from our customers' suggestion. Yeah.
I think that's one reason that we chose to go with y'all is because we had set through lots of Zoom calls with other softwares back in last November, and they wanted to give us the spill of what they had to offer. Y'all right off the beginning asked us what we were needing in a software. And luckily you had everything basically that we needed. And I think there was 2 items, don't really remember what they were, but by the time we went live, from talking to you guys in November to going live in January, the features were already there. And that was very, after sitting through 5 or 6 of those calls to get someone to, right off the bat, what do you guys need? That was kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. James did quite a lot like sales demos before, right?
Yeah, I would give demos, and then there would come a point where the person would say, wow, you guys really figured it out. The way we figured it out, of course, as we've been discussing, is we really do speak with the community, business owners, groomers, our team members really set themselves to go out to the field to talk with these people, right? To understand their pain points and their challenges. So we couldn't have created MoeGo by just sitting, designing an app behind the desk computer, right? So
that's an awesome foundation. So what are some of the things that you guys are looking forward and looking towards in the future for MoeGo?
Yeah. So like feature wise, so I think like overall, we of course want to continuously to support this community, to uplift the whole pet industry, so that our ultimate goal is that groomers can just do what they love, can focus on what they love, take care of pets, and then let MoeGo do the rest. MoeGo is like your virtual assistant, right? Right. And also feature wise, I think one thing really exciting is that we are going to do daycare and boarding, even dog training, etc. in the future, because we realize that at the very beginning we focused on the pet grooming businesses, especially from mobile, and then they expand their services, they expand their business models into retail. That's why we provided retail as well to dog training, daycare, gradually. So I think this is the right timing that we provide that as well, because when COVID came, everybody was at home, so they have time to take care of their pets themselves. But now people have to go back to office, right? They cannot leave their pets along some time at home. So this is when the daycare will have an increasing need moving forward, we think.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing that as more of calls come in, wanting to know when ours is going to open and things like that. So it's definitely, I think there is a shift of people going back to the office, and hopefully that will pick up.
Yeah, I guess we'll start ours at the same time. So
yeah.
One thing that another thing that really sets you guys off is your Facebook community. How when people ask questions, y'all actually answer them, and that's very helpful. You know, your website, if we have a question and we can look it up, or you click on the chat us and you guys answer, you know, within minutes. That is so helpful. We really, I don't know, we're always just telling people MoeGo, 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 because we're been so happy with it.
Yeah, we've used extensively two others prior to you all, and I just want to say, like, for anyone who uses MoeGo or is thinking about it, like, they have a wiki MoeGo page, and like tomorrow we're actually rolling out your new progress reports with our team, and I was able to easily go to your page and copy the link for the progress reports, and it's a step-by-step how to do it, what the features are. I mean, it spells out everything for them. So instead of us having to have a training session and take time out of everyone's day, they can just get the link and they can play around with it and they can see it and they can do it. So, I mean, it's every feature that you guys have that's helped our onboarding. A lot of our team members, either they were already with us using something else, or they've come from another place that had a different software, and it's been extremely easy to onboard them to MoeGo because of your training that's there. It's just, you know, of even just how to create a password, how to log in, how to update a note. Like, there's no questions. And then if you do have one, like he was saying, your customer service actually gets back to people. If you chat or ask a question or something, I mean, you're right there.
And another thing that we tell people when we're at these expos and stuff is, you know, they're like, well, and they're not, you know, their software is expensive, but not just y'all, you know, other, and you know, they're just starting out, they're on a very tight budget, but we're like, you know, the card on file prevents people from doing that last minute cancellation. If you know, say one last minute cancellation a month, it pays for itself. And I think, you know, people just don't think about that, but we're trying to get people to understand that, because, you know, old school pen and paper, people are like, we can't save people's credit cards on file. And we're like, well, it does it for you, and you don't really even see the card number. But
Yeah,
we're pushing it because we love it. I mean, we just love it.
or like the route optimization, like you have a busy day but you're ping ponging all over the city just to try to get people in. Whereas if you can just give them a day or even prior, just arrange your day in a concise manner, you can either get off early and save yourself 2 hours, or you could put a whole nother dog there. So it's things like that. Is what we always tell people is you can't afford not to. Like, you only have so much time in your day, and especially with a new business, they're only going to get busier and they're only going to have more customers and less time. And so setting up in the beginning the things that get your customers used to being efficient, having to confirm, having to sign an agreement, like, it takes off a lot of the stress and the headache later on. And MoeGo is just, you offer all those solutions.
Well, and our mobiles, like Molly mentioned earlier, a lot of our mobile customers, when we go to their houses, the customer is not at home. And, you know, hopefully that never happens. But if there is an accident with the pet, you know, with one click of a button on MoeGo, we see who their vet is and their phone number. In case we can't get a hold of the pet parent, we don't have to guess where they want it taken or anything like that. We have that right there, because in our intake form, it won't let them go past that unless they enter that information in. And that's a safety feature,
Yeah.
you know, especially if you can't get a hold of the pet parent. And like I said, we've never had to utilize that, but just knowing it's there, and all of our groomers know that if something was to happen, there's no time wasted. We click right there. We know where the vet is.
Yeah.
We can head straight there, and there's, you know, no downtime with that.
Yeah. And also, speaking of no-shows, we even have customers saying that they can earn double from the no-shows, because you already have their card on file, you have them signed no-show policy agreement, right? When they request an appointment with you, so you can charge the card on file when no-show actually happens. And then you can message your clients nearby. You can use the smart filters to filter people in this zip code in this area, and let them know you have open up whether they want to book an appointment. So you do the service, and also you charge no show. So that's basically how you earn double from a no show. It's not an issue anymore. It's an opportunity.
And what we've realized is, just by having the people's credit card on file and them signing that agreement, it has reduced that headache huge. Like, and we use all 3 reminders too, and that has helped greatly.
Yeah, the multiple reminder feature is amazing. We have one for 5 days, one for 3 days, and one for 1 day. So it's allowed us when they get that 5-day one that they're like, oh yeah, they're already looking at their schedule to make sure they can make the appointment. And then that way we're not stuck last minute with the spot or having to charge, because even though we can, you still don't like to charge someone. So it gives them the opportunity well ahead of time to let us know. So it's a great feature all the way around.
Because I know most of us in the industry, we have a wait list. There's not enough groomers, so we all have this wait list of people that are wanting to get in with us. So, having someone cancel 5 days ahead of time, usually, today we had 2 cancellations for Monday, and you just used the wait list, boom, book, 2, they're filled.
Yeah.
No loss there, and it was just, those features just being at your fingertip have greatly helped our business.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad you guys are sending 3 reminders. That's really the best practice to, give people a heads up early enough, like you said, Molly, and just to prevent those no-shows, but also giving you time to fill in those spots with the wait list that you have. And we do have new features like the recent online abandoned bookings list and
Oh, yeah.
all marketing campaigns to kind of be as a ready list for you to use to fill in those spots, right? So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we found that out the hard way. We had some random week this summer, like a unprecedented amount of cancellations on like a Wednesday. So Tuesday afternoon, I sent one of those marketing text messages, and we did not know better, but sent it to our entire customer list, thinking a few of them would answer. And I mean, for a week, it was like 100 would come in, you'd open them. By the time you open 10, you have 100 more and 100 more. And
oh
it was
wow.
like for $5 off. That was what we were offering just to fill these voids. And it's like we ended up overbooking our next like month just based on one of the marketing text messages we sent out. So now we've learned we need to scale it back a little.
Pick the area
Yeah.
we're in that day.
But it's just, the features like that, it saved us from having to, take out a Facebook ad or go through and look and see who hasn't come in, or, reach out to people that had further out appointments. So, it's a great feature, in a pinch or if you're doing like a holiday promo or, just so many different things that you can just fine tune it to the exact audience you want. And then a click of a button, it's done and dealt with. So that's been great. We've used that a few times. So with great, overwhelming response.
How well it works, so.
Yeah. And then like our mobiles, they pretty much, our customers always are on a schedule. Like if they come in once, they get on a reoccurring schedule. So we don't really have to worry about so many openings and things. But our salon, it's more, it's not so much set up. They'll just book their next one or they'll call when they're ready. And so having somewhere that we can easily look at everything, and when they call in, we can just have it set up. The fact that you guys can save the times and we can save the prices, the breed, the notes, you have pet notes, client notes, ticket notes, alert notes. So even if that dog hasn't been in 4 months or 6 months or something like that, we can easily have all that information. We don't have to flip through a bunch of places. It's just right there at your fingertips. And that's been great too.
Yeah. And the vaccinations expiration reminder, that's great too, because that is something that I think everybody in our industry, if you don't get an auto reminder, it's not on it, you'll forget.
Yeah.
Because you've got, you're answering the phones, you're booking clients, you're grooming dogs, and the last thing in your mind is, did Bella have her shots
last week?
Yeah, because they were due. So having that auto reminder about getting the records updated is awesome. Also, like if people change I'm sorry.
Yeah, we even want to build a complete workflow based on that. So you will see the vaccine is expired. You can run a report of all the past with expired vaccination. And with the smart filter, you can also filter out people who don't really have a valid record. Yeah. Or record is expired, and then you can follow up with them, send them an intake form to update information, right? Or send a mass email to them. So we want to build a complete workflow for that.
We also like how you can, if a customer, credit card gets compromised, not because of us or anything, but they just need to change their cards. We can just hit one button, it sends them the link to upload a new card. I mean, it's just, it really is like having an extra full-time employee taking care of stuff for you, is the way we look at it.
Yeah.
Like I said, a virtual assistant, basically.
Yeah. Well, even down to the appointment confirmations, it sends it out and they say yes, and it marks it green, good to go. And they say no, it cancels it, and we get the alert. So we know we need to follow up and reschedule, or do we need to charge their card if it's same day, or, there's so many features like that.
And unfortunately, it's a thing that I don't like to use, but I'm glad it's there, is that, if a pet passes away, especially if they have a multi-household pets, we go in there and it takes care of the next 12 appointments we have scheduled for the year, of removing that one pet from the appointment and not having to go into each individual ticket and updating it, and accidentally missing one and then a reminder go out with the pet's names. That is a lifesaver in itself too, is being able just to hit pet passed away and it's done.
Yeah. When you were kind of talking about the intake forms, that's been something too, is, we imported all our data with you guys, and some of those customers, it's easy for us to send the intake form to our new customers and stuff, but even someone who we're still getting those once or twice a year customers, like at the salon and stuff, that we don't have their updated stuff, but they're still in our system. So we can still send them that intake form and then merge their files. So we still have all their history, all their notes, but then they still had to sign the releases. They still had to put a card on file. Like, they've marked which dogs have passed and which ones they have now. So it's just a seamless way to sync up accounts and new dogs. And
we love the way it merges and that you don't have a duplicate file, so that's helpful too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually just released a feature today where one of your existing clients that may have outdated information, when they go online to book with you, now it's actually requiring them to update those information, right?
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
that was just released. And so that's another way we're helping businesses like you guys streamline and just automate that as well. So
yeah, that's an awesome feature. That takes, just one less thing that as a business owner you have to look at and think about and take care of and track. It's just like automatic.
Yeah.
And
So go ahead, Sheriff. Sorry.
Yeah, and some people, because you mentioned that MoeGo is like your virtual assistant, right? So some like it's just remind me that some people say the MoeGo, because we launched our new plan like last year, we grandfather in all of our existing customers, but some businesses choose to move forward to the new plan to access all those new features, grooming report, right? The online abandoned bookings, marketing campaign, everything to help them boost their revenue. But there are some people say that MoeGo expensive. I think it just depends on what benchmark you actually use. If you compare MoeGo to a free scheduling software, it may be expensive. But if you compare MoeGo to a like full-time assistant, I think it will not be expensive anymore. Right?
Yeah. It is. It's just people will look at just the price and not actually look at the features and the time. A lot of times groomers and business owners who look at the physical time that they're doing something, like actually grooming a dog, hands-on with their employees, things like that. And that's how they calculate cost and prices. And they don't actually think about the amount of time and hours they spend on the things like scheduling and looking at records and updating files. And I mean, that adds up to hours and hours and hours. And, when you look at it that way, it's like, how much is your time worth, or how much are you paying someone to do that stuff? We were able to get rid of a scheduler that we had on salary, which she left because she was being a stay-at-home mom. But instead of replacing her, we were able to replace her with pretty much MoeGo and handle it ourselves on top of, everything else, because it took care of so much stuff. We didn't actually need another salaried person to handle the scheduling and the phone calls and the text and stuff, because MoeGo covered so many of those features. So, I mean, for us, we actually save money a month by having MoeGo. So
and MoeGo, I think, was we're paying 3 times the amount we were with our other software, but yet we don't have a person on salary handle it anymore. And we're able to handle, and we may get a part-time person here soon to handle the things that we're handling through it, so that we can just focus on other things. But the system is set up now that where someone really doesn't even have to have that much knowledge of the pet industry, because the way you guys have it set up, like they're literally just need to learn the system, you know, and you have a training resource for us. We don't have to spend the time to train the person on the system. So,
and kind of going off that, like prior to January, Todd was not in the pet industry. I mean, he had been around it because, you know, he had, you know, we have been together and grown the business, but not the day to day. And so when he started taking over some of the scheduling and everything, you know, he's always asking me, what is this dog? What is this dog? And now with MoeGo, they can put their picture and the breed. And so when we get their intake form, he's like, oh, well, this is a German short haired pointer, or, oh, look at this cute little poodle, you know, like he knows now because that comes with the intake form. So it takes the guesswork out of it. You know, he can see how much it weighs, see the coat, see the size, see the breed. So it is very user friendly, even for people who are not that familiar, like a new scheduler or someone that's outside of the pet industry.
Yeah. So you know, we have 6 mobiles, and I've roughly maybe spend 2 hours a day just, you know, making sure that everybody's confirmed, stuff like that. But if you think about 6 mobiles, I mean, we used, like I said, we used to have a full-time person handle that, not even including our salon stuff. And now it's just really streamlined it, and we love it.
Yeah. And honestly, our employees love it too. They like every new thing that we start using, they're able to pick up with quickly. And then, like I said, most of them had used a different software prior, whether it was like a corporate software or just another version. And they say hands down, like it's user friendly, it's easy to access. Like even if they're not sure when they like first start using it where to find something, they can find it because there's only a few spaces, you know, that you would put something to look at. So,
you know, one of the ones they like is the ETA button, especially for our mobiles, because that alerts the pet parent that, hey, we are on our way, that hopefully the pet parent has the pet ready. We're not knocking on their door and they've got to, you know, chase the dog out of the backyard, you know, and wasting time. Like the dog, they know they're getting ready. And for that just to be, you know, hey, I'm on the way, that one push of a button, it doesn't take any of their time, but it saves them time when they arrive to the appointment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love to hear when a groomer is happy using MoeGo because that means everyone is happy.
yeah.
And one of the features that we are pushing out soon is, and I think your groomers will absolutely really appreciate this and it'll help them out a lot, is on the calendar between appointments, it's now going to show, or soon it's going to show the distance and how long it's going to take to get there. That way they know how much time they need to get to their next appointment. So they know exactly that. So.
Oh, that's a good thing to have.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one of our we have a rule that our mobile groomers have to be on time to their first appointment. I'm like, this is a non-negotiable. We got to be on time to your first appointment. But after that, we're dealing with pets. Like, you know, it may have only taken an hour for the last 6 times, but now the pet's having a bad day. It may take them an hour and 20 minutes. And they felt like they were being rushed. So we use your arrival window time. So in our contract that people sign, and we, you know, we have an hour before the appointment, an hour. So we're given a 3-hour window for our arrival time. And then they, you know, send the message and stuff. But having that feature too, where they can see, well, just looking at it without having to hit any extra buttons, I'm sure they'll like that too. They know they can stop and grab a bite to eat if they need to.
Yeah, they'll see just instantly how long it's going to take and what do I have time for? I don't have to stress. And then they can go ahead and just send their ETA based on that, not have to calculate anything. And yeah, I think that's a great feature to roll out.
Yeah. And we have pre-op launch recently because we know like mobile groomers how rushed they are, you know, during the day from finish this one and coming to the next one. So we want to streamline the process. Also, you know, eliminate no-show issues, protect you from that kind of loss, and also streamline the checkout and payment process. So basically, the pre-auth will, you know, take the appointment or pre-auth the appointment 48 hours before. And then after you check out and finish the ticket, it will capture the payment automatically. So basically, you don't have to spend extra time doing checkout swipe the card or
Oh, okay.
everything.
Yeah. That's neat.
That is neat. What is so we talked basically we know what sends you guys out from other people and we preach that to people, but what new features? I know you have, it seems like the features are for the mobile are so great and the salon are great too. How do you keep developing? I guess what one of the, I'm not, got a little messed up there. What I like too is you're separate. You know, the mobile is separate from the salon. At first we were like, oh no, but then we loved it because our salon is in a different city than our mobiles. And we do like that separate line of business. But what kind of stuff are you adding to the salon features to enhance it?
So for salons, we know, it's very different from the mobile businesses, right? So we have a like specific availability type for salon, the book by slot. I don't know whether you have used it or not, book by slot. So basically, you can decide how many pads you want to take in for the entire day or for a specific slot. So pet parents can just drop off their pads on a certain time frame, and then you can take care of the pass in the sequence that you want to do, and then let them know, send a ready for pickup message for them after it's finished. Yeah, so this availability type is more for salon.
And one thing people are scared about the online booking is they're worried they're going to get all big dogs one day or anything like that. But we tell them that, you have that great feature where you can limit how much, one large dog a day or two large dogs a day.
Yeah.
And I think that makes people less nervous about actually utilizing that feature, because usually people, when we tell them about that, they're like, oh, I'm never going to use online booking because I worked at a salon that did that before and it was horrible. I got stuck with all big dogs one day and things like that. But I mean, you've already taken care of all of that by working with the industry. So it's a great feature.
Yes, the booking limit is a very popular one. And I think it's also the first in the industry to do this feature because it's kind of complicated, but we made it and our customer really love it because they can improve their staff retention, retainment as well, because they can make them more mentally healthy, physically healthy by taking care of them, by limiting how many doodles you will accept on every single day. We don't really want them to be overworked, right? We want to keep our staff happy as well.
Yeah, I was one of those that was never going to use online booking because I saw how terribly it worked in a corporate setting. And seeing the options and the features that you guys have, that's another thing we'll be rolling out soon is, we can limit 2 big dogs. We can limit breaks in between. We can block off certain times. So it's not just a free for all. We have all the pet information because they've input it. We know how much they weigh. We know if they need a haircut and how much time it's going to take. And, if it's not available, they can't book it. It won't even show it. So, that's a time saver in itself. It's saves the employees so they don't have a random day with a bunch of big dogs. And yes, that is a great feature that we've not seen anywhere else.
Yeah. I think we love how your software helps the groomers. It's not a burden for them. Some groomers are still wanting to use pen and paper because they think the software is going to be a whole nother job for them, where your software takes a job away from them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and for the booking limit feature, I actually did one demo one time to 2 business owners who were also groomers themselves. And I showed them the entire product or platform, scheduling, organizing your pets and clients, no-show reminders to prevent no-shows. And then I showed them that booking limit for online booking. And they told me that's their favorite feature out of all the features. Right. And I thought it was funny at first, but then I realized this feature does mean a lot to people who groom, because like Cher said, it's looking out for the groomer. Internally, we call that feature the groomer care limit because we're, respecting the groomer's limits as a person, physically and mentally, and we know how groomers get burnt out. So yeah, this is one of the features I'm personally very proud of that MoeGo pushed out. So
yeah, you should be. That's definitely a lifesaver for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's it not just that, but the fact that you can tailor it so personal for each different groomer or each different location, each different van. Like So you're setting all these limits, and then those are all available through the online booking. And like, so you're not only having to not schedule, but you're not even having to go in and adjust appointments and things. Like, it's just a time saver on so many levels.
One of the
Mhm.
features I used this week that you offer that was very time saved me tons of time is that we had a groomer that left. It was a planned leave. Her replacement had already come on board, and just to hit the transfer of appointments over, and it's done.
Oh yeah. We didn't have to spend days going through the rest of the year and moving every single appointment over. So gosh, that was an amazing feature.
I mean,
Mm.
there's no telling how many hours that would have taken on another platform that, like I said, one button, and it was done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and now you
transfer
can,
upcoming appointments, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and now you can introduce that groomer via a marketing campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, there's already a template built for it. Not sure you saw that.
that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, we've been using it since January, and there's still so many features. Like, I mean, we'll be like, "Did you know that existed?" And we're like, "No." It's just like,
Yeah.
I know you guys told us all about it when we first onboard it, but it's like, if you
Mhm.
don't use that feature every day, and then when you come across it, it's very exciting.
Mhm. Yeah, and honestly, even I'm learning something new every day, and that's another thing that separates MoeGo, honestly, is kind of the speed the team works. So we're consistently getting feedback on things that can be better and things we can add in terms of the core features, but also, the innovative features we want to bring to the industry. So MoeGo is always, at least weekly, pushing out product updates, and then every month major product updates. So the speed of the product team is pretty wild. So
Yeah.
It's I love to wake up every morning and have everybody's appointment emailed to me in case someone's in this area where they don't have service, or, something crazy happens. Like, we have, oh, you need to go to this address. It's that person, just to have that backup every morning is awesome too. That's an awesome feature, because before we were hitting print every morning in case something happened. We would have, and when you have 10 or 11 people working for you grooming, that's a lot of wasted paper and flipping through. But now the email every morning, that's a feature I love too.
Yeah. Well, and it was hard to find too. You had to go in and click a bunch of buttons, run a report, and then do it by each person and print it out. And then, heaven forbid, you leave and you don't forget it. That'll be the day the system crashed. And then and you're just like rushing to get home. And, so that is great that you can just set that up to be emailed to you and you have it every day. And then also, Todd kind of touched on how like you can have the salon and the mobiles separate. That was something we thought would be a headache, but it's actually a lifesaver, because you can easily swap between the two of them, but like you can individually tailor your messages or tailor your scheduling or tailor your prices. Our mobile and our salon are two completely different pricing structures. And so instead of having all of that under one and trying to figure out what customer's mobile, what customer, you don't have to worry about that. So that was a feature that we had not had previously with the softwares that we had used. And so we just weren't familiar and we didn't think we would like it, but it is made for a seamless interaction.
Probably the number one feature that I have, and I know we're running over on time here, but the number one feature that I love is that we can set up what messages our staff sees. And it's like, how you have the feature where they can only see if it's a customer that they're booking with, or if it's in their calendar for the next 7 days. We love that feature, because before we had the mobile and the salon together, and somebody would accidentally open a message and then it would get missed, and then that person wouldn't get responded to. And so now it's like everybody has their own accountability. Like, even though we're still monitoring the schedule, so we're ultimately responsible for those messages, but they know if they get a message, it happens to be about their client within the next 7 days. I think is how we have it set up.
Well, it's also helped with boundaries. We have our employees pretty much get to pick their days and their hours, but once they pick them, they're set, and so then we'll have a customer that, well, I need a reschedule, or I can't be home till 5. And so that has our groomer working till 9 o'clock or something. Whereas the groomer will just, before we can even do anything, would answer, well, I can do it this time, or that's no problem. Whereas had we seen it, it just would have been a, well, no, I'm sorry, like they get off at 7 or whatever. And so we'll have to make it work, or we have not at home services. So just having that kind of filtered out to where they can't see all that going on in the background, it takes that stress out of them for thinking they have to, they have to work overtime, or they have to work some other time, or, and reaching out to us to say, oh, I can get them in, or, they don't even see it. And we just book them what they're scheduled. And it just has made for a better work-life balance.
And they actually see the messages that they need to see. So if they're out at an appointment and the pet parent texts us, please don't use cologne this time, they actually see it, where before they were getting so many messages that they were ignoring it because they didn't know if it pertained to them or not. And then we would have to go through and find it, send them a screenshot of the message. By that time, they've already put the fragrance on the dog. The pet parent's upset. So that's probably, there's so many features that you guys have that we love and why we chose you guys. But that one feature right there has solved so many problems for us. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So glad it solved so much for you guys. Wow.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you guys. Like, we
Yes.
really just wanted to get your story out there and kind of explain to people what you have to offer, some of the great features that we love that have helped us. It saves us time, money, headache. It's great to fill spots. It's just, we've had nothing but success and, appreciation for what you guys have created.
Yeah, and we've talked before, Molly teaches a finance class at some of the expos, and people say they can't afford it. We tell them how they can afford it, and plus it keeps track of all your sales, and it's you can't go without it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for vouching for us.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. And we thank you guys for the software, but also, for the communication you have with your clients and stuff. You're always looking for what we need as business owners, what we need as groomers, and you just don't get that at a lot of places. So
We appreciate you guys' time.
Yeah. But
We
thank
appreciate
you.
you as well.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Molly and Todd.
Thanks.